Death Metal Pug was part of the crowdfunding and concert promotion street team for Archspires' independent record release for its album Too Fast to Die. This all started just over a year ago. Death Metal Pug assisted in the campaign that pre-ordered merchandise, promoted the album's tour, and we went to the Chicago tour date a few days ago in May where I got to meet the band. I'll walk you through the whole timeline of events for the new album over the last year. Death Metal Pug is next. Welcome back to Death Metal Pug. I'm Drone Pug Aviator. I want to be a rock star when I grow up. The purpose of this is to have fun and talk about music. If for some reason we can help out your band, project, or business, please reach out to us at deathmetalpug@gmail.com. I'd like to thank Dean Lamb for being on last week's episode.
In this beautiful day that we are calling Archspire Independence Day.
In May 2025, Archspire announced it was going the independent label route through an online Kickstarter campaign to fund its new album through merchandise pre-sales as a way to execute this. The band talked about how grateful they were for 13 years at Season of Mist record label, but were trying something new. The Kickstarter had tier options with additional merch with increasing costs for each tier. Death Metal Pug committed to a Tier 9 package May 29th, 2025 for $321 Canadian dollars. This purchase did not financially harm the team of Death Metal Pug. Always be responsible with your disposable income, especially nowadays. This was the largest package that was not a used guitar or kick pedal. According to what I read on the Kickstarter website a few days ago, there were 120 Tier 9 backers. The band reached its funding goal the same day, within 12 hours of the announcement. On August 10th, 2025, an announcement was made that it was time to make the individual selections on the variable merch options available, such as the vinyl color and shirt design. We have included updates in a couple of videos about this over the last year. Roll the tape! And of course, bought a ticket to see Archspire in May, coming off the new album. Archspire's campaign to self-fund and pre-buy items, that whole process we've been covering, and we were part of that. They were sending out alerts on the Kickstarter about like, hey, it's time to ensure we picked our options, so the different t-shirts and options and stuff like that. This has all been discussed in past videos. Basically, a whole group of people are front-loading the money so that they can go ahead and make and produce and create and distribute the album and everything. So what they did was they asked for that money through a Kickstarter campaign to fund everything. We had bought into the Archspire independent label campaign, so we got in on the package for the merch and everything for that. Death Metal Pug went ahead and bought in on the largest package, so it's not equipment. And also add the email we received on screen just to prove like we actually did it. Also, the process. The thing on this album is written and recorded, except the drums. The whole thing is expected to release in spring of 2026. We contributed, so we bought into a Tier 9 package. June 16th, the drums were completed. I got a notice on June 28th as well. They are charging my credit card. So the album appears to be done. The drums are added on. They were looking for that drummer, right? They've reached their funding, and now they come through and basically said, hey, we need a response. They're getting to the point to where they want to go ahead and have you make an entry on the stuff that you bought into. So Death Metal Pug bought into or sponsored the new record by being part of like one of the tiers of the campaign. So we had a lot of questions, right? And they sent an email to the Kickstarter and said, okay, now it's time to choose, right? For example, well, the first thing they asked about, like, choose the color of the limited vinyl edition that you want, kind of thing. So they went with like a red one, they call it a gold one, and what's for this green apple one, so it looks like a half green, half silvery kind of thing. Was what size and what style of t-shirt you want, right? So Death Metal Pug went ahead and picked the size of the t-shirt and then the different t-shirts and stuff like that. And then part of the whole thing, you get I believe the CD. We'll pop this stuff up. Can't remember if it's a tape, a flag, something like that. So it was time to pick the materials, right? They've recorded the album. They're gonna go ahead and basically like print it to stuff, start for distribution, those kind of things. So the album release is due to be released on April 10th. According to the present Kickstarter page, the band's goal was to reach $174,000. And they collected $396,326. This is all noted as Canadian dollars, as this band is based out of Vancouver, Canada. On March 13th, 2026, an announcement came about being part of the Archspire street team to promote the album tour. Death Metal Pug is part of the street team promoting the tour, and more specifically, the May 22nd, 2026 concert at the House of Blues in Chicago. This included 2 posters that were digitally sent to us with a specific QR code tied to Death Metal Pug. For every ticket sold, for example my ticket, a street team member got 1 entry into a contest to win a gold Stay Tech necklace. We put these posters up above urinals where we could and handed out flyers at shows and posted our own videos encouraging people to attend the tour. Hi, Death Metal Pug says, if you feel like seeing Archspire, use this Archspire ticket code for your tickets. Part of our tier package included a pre-listening of the album event on YouTube with the band. On Monday, April 6, 2026, we received an email with a link for a non-public YouTube video to a live-streamed album listening party taking place Wednesday, April 8th at 2 p.m. Central, 2 days ahead of the album's release.
This is Too Fast to Die. This is the title track of the album, and this was supposed to be a single.
In 5.
Should have been.
Nice. 4.
After listening to the album with the band, who commented between songs, and prior to the album's release, we recorded this video, still available to see on our channel. As of May 30th, 2026, that video still only had 732 views, and I was probably at least a dozen of them. We talked about the new album in a video, and if I redid that review, I probably would have spoken more about how great of a song Carrion Ladder is. I did listen to each song with the band during the band's live stream. They had the new drummer in a Zoom style box on the screen as he was in Nashville. The first song on the new album, Liminal, Cypher, and the last song on the album, Too Fast to Die, were the ones that stood out to me at first listen. When that album starts off, it kind of calms you in and then just hits you over the head with just a giant mallet and just is relentless from there. 8 songs on this thing. It's got that clear techie production. The instruments are separate and clear, maybe just a hair more vocals in it. The song Red Goliath has a ton of vocals layered on it as well. Not necessarily rapid all the time, but like long breathy growls in that song too. But don't worry, there's a ton of like Ollie's death metal rapping and otherwise on this album. The songs are fast on this thing. I feel like they're a little like less wanky. Track 4, Anonymous Descent, has recorded gang vocals from meet and greets with fans, they said, in it. Ollie has that breathy, breath in and out kind of vocal thing where it's like, but the whole album overall just has a more like, it's more listenable in total than any album they put out to date. And I'd say there's a lot of melody here, maybe more so than other albums. The songwriting on this feels a little more cognitive of like a live setting. The title track comes out of the gate so fast. It blasts. It's got sweep picks, gravity blasts, Ollie's machine gun vocals. There's also like a stompy section that is gonna kill live. Overall, this album is more Bleed the Future than Lucid Collective. The songs are a bit more direct, I'd say. The bass still stands out, the guitars still shred, the vocals kill, the new drummer nails it, and I think the songs, again, are built more or better for like live performances. Do check out Archspires, Too Fast to Die. The album was released April 10th, 2026, with Kickstarter items expected to ship Monday, April 13th, 2026. There was a delay, and Archspire, and Dean Lamb in particular, have been very clear with us on timing and updates. As communicated, the shirts that originally arrived were of sub quality, and they remanufactured new shirts and waited to send the package as a whole. On May 7th, 2026, I received the Tier 9 package merchandise. Although the signed poster came a few days later, no big deal. In this video, we had a fun time unpacking everything. Indie Merch was the company on the included invoices. I hope this works. I want to do one of those like unpacking videos things. So I have the box of stuff that I'll show you here. It came in this box. So part of it was of course the album. They sent an Archspire patch, a sweet Stay Tech pen. I think this is the flag. I do know it's 100% polyester. I can say that with certainty. Well, I guess you know what we're gonna do with this. Got the album with this as well. You'll notice the Stay Tech on that. We got the Green Apple Cipher book. This is a straight up like book full of like, I think the song lyrics, images, and things inside of here. The whole thing just strikes me as like yeah, it's almost like a crazy person's manifesto or something here. This is the t-shirt that I picked from the campaign. We had a selection of the ones to pick from, so I went ahead and landed on the red Goliath one. Also, came with it. This is an autographed poster of Archspire here. Yeah, that's our Archspire Independent Album Campaign Tier 9 package unpacking. Long roads, big loads. Next was seeing the tour. The highly anticipated Long Roads, Big Loads tour. Proving you did something for the street team got you a free t-shirt at the concert and an opportunity to meet the band. They policed this by proving the efforts through email, where I sent our videos and photos of flyers up in the bathroom to them via the email again. Then we got added to a Google Doc to be verified at the merch table. I got to the concert early, picked up my t-shirt, bought some other stuff, and they gave me the tour manager Brett's cell phone number to text him to meet up with the band. I went to the washroom, I texted the number, I got a beverage at the bar, and then I went to the floor to just kind of wait for everything. I met a guy who recognized me from a Sang with Zuzabog show back in December. He was down from Michigan, which is why it's kind of notable. He recommended a band that he had the shirt on and everything of, Nithing, N-I-T-H-I-N-G is how that's spelled. Mutilation Barbecue set fired up, and I don't think we were much more than 2 songs in, and I received a text that it was time to meet up. Brett described what he looked like, and we were to meet at the left side of the stage. There's a bar up on the left side, and from there you can go backstage behind it. I recognized him when he was there. We basically went up a flight of stairs as we were on our way up to meet Archspire. I walked in and Dean Lamb greeted me right away and said, "Hi, I'm Dean Lamb." I joked and said, "Dean Lamb from the technical death metal band Archspire?" Because that's how he starts all of his videos. Dean and Ollie were the two I spoke with the most. Ollie looked lean. He said he slowed down on the beer drinking for the tour. He commented on the Voodoo Ranger I was holding. Instead of seeing if like he was a beer guy and kind of engaging or connecting on a personal level with him, I just said, yeah, that's the best beer I could get at House of Blues. I wish I could have like kind of engaged with him better on that, see if he was like a beer enthusiast or something. I don't think I was nervous, but it was just The room was very busy when I walked in there. They had a bunch of souvenir license plates that were all laid out on a table, and they said like Archspire on them. They're like souvenir license plates, and the guys were signing them actively with silver Sharpies. Now I did see these plates at merch. A lot of the merch had signatures on it, like more than I've ever seen at a lot of shows. So I can confirm they signed this stuff as they were actively doing it when I walked in there. They were signing CDs and all kinds of stuff. You know, I hung out with them for a few minutes, We chatted, we talked about the crowdfunding campaign. I kind of shared like, you know, what we did. They were very gracious about us being part of the street team, which is why they were meeting up with us. And they were very gracious that, you know, we were part of a tier package for the Kickstarter. It was pretty busy, a little bit chaotic. The 5 guys in and out, the tour manager in and out, and just merch being laid out, signed, taken back, like all that kind of stuff. In hindsight, I wish I could have come up with some thoughtful questions for the guys. I bet they would have appreciated that. Concerts have always been kind of like my let loose and just enjoy kind of chill time. So I just kind of lazily followed that pattern, and I don't want to say sleepwalk through it, but I just, I didn't think much about what I would say when I met them. And I wish I would have done that, because all the guys were very personable, more handsome, and a little bit smaller than I realized in real life. They graciously offered to take a photo. Manager Brett took the photo, and the guys just mobilized into these poses in a heartbeat. They were very welcoming, and I had a genuinely big smile on my face, dorked out in my Tier 9 Archspire Red Goliath shirt. I was back out in the concert crowd with enough time to see the second half of the Mutilation Barbecue set. Crown Magentar also played that night, Undeath, and then Archspire. Now, I've seen Archspire before, but the set list that night were all the hits. They started the night with Drone Corpse Aviator, and it was all the bangers from there, from Remote Tumor Seeker, Limb of Leviticus, Bleed the Future, Golden Mouth, AUM, and the singles from the new album, including the closer that night, Carrion Ladder. Red Goliath is a monumental song live as well. A different vocal pattern for Archspire on that one. It's one of my top 3 favorite songs from that album. The Vessel sounded more of a vicious song live than it came across to me on the album. They had some fun with the song AUM, with Ollie holding a phone pretending to pick up voicemails, including one for Ollie about his gonorrhea test results, before playing the one that is on the album.
You have one unheard message.
What's this music about? I don't want to hear like, oh, fuck all this beautifully played, oh, listen to this blast. No, fuck it. Bring back the fucking danger in the music.
Toby would play a lot of the melodies on the songs, Limb of Leviticus, for example. I don't know if he's the lead guitarist, so to speak, or if I just had a better view of him from the floor that night. At one point, Ollie set up the floor for a wall of death, telling the crowd to split by one half circumcised and the other side not circumcised. The band's levity are one of the things that make them successful at this. The band, and Ollie in particular's humor, was the difference that night. At one point between songs, when the band tuned up or took a breather, Ollie pulled up a stool, sat down, and proceeded to deliver a few quick minutes of jokes to the crowd. I won't ruin those, as you might be still going to the tour, as there's a few days left there. Beach balls were tossed around for Golden Mouth of Ruin, including some sweet I'm Not Looking bass runs. They would do little parodies like Maiden's Run to the Hills and 6 Feet Under. They concluded with Carrion Ladder, which makes sense. It's probably the best song on the new album, Too Fast to Die. One thing I have never mentioned because I forgot is a studio documentary is being created. The band has referenced it's in process currently. Every Kickstarter backer who contributed will have early access to what's referred to as the studio documentary, and that person's name will be credited or shown at the end of that documentary. So we saw this thing through. It's been fun to be part of the independent album and promote the tour and attend the concert. Probably as close to a band as anyone could get without actually having any direct connection to the band. It's interesting, ambitious, and brave that Archspire was able to do this with things costing so much today, more so than ever. The band's efforts, especially Dean Lamb's charisma and promotions, I think have made this a success. It's apparent to me the band is trying to grow from a small technical death metal band into something bigger while leaning into its strengths, which include the music and fun personality. Thank you and good luck, Archspire.
That's Mike.
There we go.
Ready?
Go.
That's it! Death metal pog and you can fuck my ass!